Hey, what's up, everybody? Apologize for the driving live video today. So I'm gonna talk about, as usual, a question, and just kind of answer a question up front. And then if anybody has answered, or if anybody has asked any other questions, then I will be happy to answer them to the best of my ability when I stop at a red light or something. So the first question I want to kind of answer here, and it's really more of just like just kind of addressing, it's not this one is not necessarily a question I've been asked, although I have received it in like various forms. It's more of a like, man, this my van looks like it's got a like a sunroof here. But anyway, this question is one that it shows up in various forms, but I'm going to kind of address the broad topic. And if you have other questions, feel free to just comment them, and when I stop here at a red light or something, I'll read it and respond. Or if you have questions later, comment and I'll answer then. So like what I am want to address today is kind of like when it comes to like working out, finding kind of that happy middle ground between like too much and too little. Like, you hear people say, you know, can I just walk? And that would obviously be like potentially on the too little. Or you'll hear people say, hey, I literally have had people mention like wanting to do like 2 workouts a day, most days of the week, stuff like that. That could be bordering on too much. Before I dig into this, I want to say, first of all, whatever you're motivated to do is probably the best thing, because anything is better than nothing, you know what I mean? So like, if you're pushing yourself maybe a little too hard, if you're not pushing yourself quite as much as you could be, either one of those things is better than like not working out. So if you've got a workout program you're excited about or something like that, I would advise you to potentially look around and see if you can find something ideal. But if you're really excited about it, that's going to be the best place to start, and then you can adjust it from there. So before I even get into this, I'm going to just say that, because activity is better than no activity, period, right? So what I'm about to say is talking about kind of the ideal, and so that may not be your ideal right now. But anyway, I'm just going to kind of talk about this, and so like if this is where you are right now, use it. If it's not where you are, file it away and save it for later when you do get there. So what I want to just kind of bring up is like, so if somebody, let's stick with weightlifting right now, for instance. If so, or we'll throw cardio in there too. So like, if somebody is just now starting like a weight loss thing, or they're wanting to put on muscle, or whatever the case may be, a lot of times, like especially for weight loss, they just have heard cardio. They've heard like I need to start walking, things like that. Walking is good, but if you're motivated to do more, don't let somebody talk you out of doing more. Like, don't let somebody talk you out of doing weight training and things like that. I'm not going to harp too much here on why that's the best way to go with strength training, with some cardio mixed in. But because I've done that in other places, we'll continue to do so. But basically, when we get into strength training, there are these like kind of 2 schools of thought where you're like, you know, you have this, I would just kind of like throw the terms out and then define them. So like, you have like a volume crowd, and then you have like an intensity crowd. So like the volume crowd is the crowd that volume, when it comes to like weightlifting or training, basically just means you do more of it. So it might look like you know, a 6-day-a-week plan, or it might look like a 3 or 4-day-a-week plan with just a ton of different exercises, or a ton of sets on the same exercises. Volume just means you're doing a lot more of it. Intensity refers to what it sounds like, intensity, like how heavy the weight is, if you're running, how long the sprint is, basically like how you know, during that amount of time, the heaviest weight or the most intense run or whatever, like that's what intensity refers to. And so there's a crowd that says like, if you can get it intense enough, you don't need as much volume, you know what I mean? And so what I would recommend is finding kind of a middle ground there. So you don't want to just do 1 set of squats a week, right? And you also don't need to do 20 heavy sets of squats a week, you know? So I think finding a middle ground is kind of a big deal. And a lot of people, you know, everybody's different. Everybody has their own individual genetics, you know, and their, you know, the way that they like their own life experiences, different injuries that they've had, different degrees of motivation. So you have to kind of like know yourself and understand kind of where you're at with all these things. And a lot of times it's trial and error. So you pick a program, you know, something like, there are several, like if we're talking weightlifting, there are several programs out there that are really good. Like Starting Strength is one. Basically that's a 3-day workout. That's a 3-day lifting program. And it'll have you doing about 15 heavy sets of squats a week. It'll have you doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 sets plus warm-ups a week, and then 3 sets of deadlifts with warm-up a week, and then the upper body like bench and overhead press. It'll be just a few. It kind of alternates the weeks. If you do a 5-day, there's one called Bigger, Leaner, Stronger by a guy named Mike Matthews. I followed him for a long time, and that's a 5-day split, and it's like a body part split. So you've got like a chest day, leg day, that kind of thing. And if you're doing that, either one of those has a really good balance, in my opinion, between volume and intensity. It gives you, you're focusing on heavier weights. You're not trying to go out for an all-out set of 1 repetition, like how much, like you can pull the deadlift or whatever one time, but you know, it's sets of like 5 reps, which is heavy enough to really affect change. If you go into the gym and you're, you know, fresh and you're not somebody who's been working out and you're just trying to crank out sets of like 8 reps to 10 reps to 12 reps to 15 reps or more, most of the time you're not strong enough for that to really like affect a change. If you can already do it that many times, it's pretty easy for you. You're not really going to affect a lot of change. You might be able to, you're going to burn some calories, you're going to build your muscular endurance, which means like build the amount of times that you can do that same movement over and over with your muscles, but you're not really going to build strength. You're not really going to build muscle, and if you're trying to lose body fat, building that muscle is a big deal, because it's going to increase your metabolic rate, which just means how many calories you're going to burn as you're just doing anything or nothing. So like you should care about that. And so when you're doing this, you want to find a good medium range. And so what I would say, a good medium range is I would stick like set-wise, like repetition-wise, how many times you do it per set. I would say like stick to like, you know, if you're first starting out, stick to like a 4 to 6 rep range on things. You don't really need much heavier than that. You don't need much lighter than that for sure. As we progress and as you get stronger, now you will start to add some of those other rep ranges in. But if you just do like sets of 4 to 6 reps on like the big lifts, the things that work the big muscle groups and are gonna like really work on everything, like your squat, your deadlift, your bench, your overhead press. If you stick to those 4 and a couple of times a week or even once a week, you do 3 sets of those lifts. With some of them, especially squats, you'd want to do a little more than that. But like if you're doing that, you're going to see pretty good results. That's giving you enough intensity, which is like the rep range, what you can do for 5 reps, 4 reps, 6 reps, whatever, and it's heavy. It's hard to get that last rep. And then the volume, just doing it a few times a week. Don't go in there and do 1 set, go in there and do 3 sets of it and move on to something else, and do that, a few times a week on different exercises, mixing them up, giving yourself muscle, like breaks between muscle groups. So don't do squats on Monday and then squats again on Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like you want to, if you're doing full body workouts, you want to like doing something upper and lower body every time you go to the gym. You want to put a day of rest in between them. If you're trying to do if you're doing like a body weight thing, structure it in such a way so that it's just kind of like upper lower. So maybe do like Monday chest, Tuesday legs, Wednesday shoulders, something like that. Kind of mix it up like that, and you don't have to stick to the days like that either. I'm just kind of using an example. So I'm kind of rambling at this point, but the summary that I would give is don't go too little and don't go too much. You want to, the formula is stress plus recovery equals adaptation. So stress is like you're doing the workouts, you're giving your body a reason to change. Recovery is giving it time to actually recover from those workouts and come back stronger and more ready to handle the task. So if you do too little stress, you're not giving it a reason. If you do too much stress and not enough recovery, then you are not going to see the results you want because you're not giving your body enough time or what it needs to get back. And there's all kind of other things involved in recovery I won't get into, like food and sleep. But for the most part, find a program that is kind of right there in the middle Starting Strength, Beyond Bigger, or Bigger, Leaner, Stronger. Those are just 2 that you get to look at as sample examples, or you can do those programs. If we wind up working together with me as your coach or something, then you'll notice that the program I write you is going to be something in the middle like that, where you have enough room for the stress plus the recovery. All right, I'm about to stop here and see if anybody messaged anything. Let's see. Alright, what's up everybody? Jaron, Brendan's fave is running marathons. No, it's not. Never run a marathon. Probably never will, unless I just get bored one day. What's up? Alright, cool. Thanks everybody, and happy Wednesday.